If we look for the reasons behind the age of exploration or discovery, the two biggest reasons were first, finding new trade routes with Asia, and second, the ease of sea travel with new technology and increasing knowledge. Let's put it this way. When people gradually began bringing goods from Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, their growing demand increased people's desire to earn money. Now, if you saw a profit in a business, what would you do? You would want more profits. So, the Europeans' greatest desire was for the spices found in Asia. They had discovered that Asian spices were effective food preservatives and kept food fresh for longer. As a result, the use of these spices increased in winter, but dealing with Eastern countries was an expensive process. Because Muslims and Italians controlled most of the flow of trade, Muslim traders would first transport all goods to the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea. From there, Italian traders would then take those goods to Europe. Problems arose when Muslim rulers often closed the trade routes from Asia to Europe. With exchange of money, the price of goods increased as they passed from one hand to another. So, European monarchs wanted to break the stranglehold that Muslims and Italians had on the royal and Moshe trade. And to do this, finding a new route to Asia was crucial. So, Portuguese sailors discovered a route to Africa and then to Asia. Christopher Columbus discovered a route west to Africa and then to Asia. He embarked on a voyage across the Atlantic. There were other reasons for embarking on such exploratory expeditions. For example, many saw this as an opportunity to gain new information and knowledge. For many, it proved to be an opportunity for adventure. The national motive was to spread Christianity. Both Protestant and Catholic countries were competing to convert people to Christianity. Now, explorers began to follow in their footsteps, and people were often forcefully converted to Christianity. The age of exploration began during the Renaissance period, also known as the time of new learning. The innovations made during this time made it much easier for explorers to make new discoveries. The most significant of these innovations was cartography, the art of map making, and the science associated with it. In the early 14th century, an Italian scholar translated the Book of the Good and brought geographical information from Greek to Latin. In the 2nd century, knowledge of cartography was obtained from the works of Ptolemy, using the information provided by Claudius, Ptolemy, an Alexandrian mathematician, astronomer, astrologer, and geographer. Mapmakers created highly accurate maps, making their voyages much easier. Subsequently, as new discoveries were made, explorers reported, and mapmakers updated the maps with new information. This changed the way Europeans viewed the world. By the 15th century, through globes, it became clear that the world was round. In 1507, a cartographer demonstrated that North and South America were separated from Asia. This information led to better navigation. Another geographer of the Renaissance period, Gerard Mercator, developed the concept of longitude and latitude. Latitude maps were created, and Portuguese and Spanish shipbuilders began to construct new and advanced types of ships. This made it easier for explorer groups to navigate coastal areas with shallow water. These new ships were called caravels. The triangular-shaped sails on Muslim ships were also copied. The triangular sails allowed for better wind control, increasing the ship's speed. The pondati, or historic, an ancient astronomical instrument, made it easier to determine the distance north or south from the equator. By now, the weapons of defense and warfare had become so powerful that the spirit of the people had to be improved. With the ships reaching shore, their cannons, European guns, and horses, every challenge could be overcome. We'll discuss the age of explorations later, but let's also learn about the history before that. What the world was like and what it was like. Europe had various kingdoms and empires. Each had its own culture, language, and political system. The most common of these was feudalism. This system was ruled by the king, and the will of the Roman Catholic Church also prevailed in society. Asia, too, was ruled by numerous civilizations and empires, such as the Byzantine Empire or the Eastern Roman Empire, which was formed around Constantinople. The Middle East was under the Ming dynasty in China and in India. The Delhi Sultanate was passing from the Lodi kings to the Mughal Empire. As for the Americas, there were also different tribes, including the Acarian Sea, the Caucasus, the Apache people, and Central and South America. There were some advanced civilizations in America, such as the Maya civilization, and each had its own social, cultural system, monumental architecture, and political organization. Thus, the trade routes were divided between different regions, mostly within their own continents. The most famous was the Silk Road, which connected Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Silk, spices, and other luxury items were traded along this route. If you like the video, like, share, and subscribe.